Hi everybody, I hope you're ready for these next 15 minutes. According to my timings, they are going to be quite packed. So let's get started with this. We were tasked with giving an example of a digital, now it's not working. Then we even tested this. Let's see. Oh, tech devil is coming. You guys, we have our own presentation. Well, I'll do the intro on us. Entreprenerdy as a company, we have been working the last 11 years with several hundred entrepreneurship programs and thousands of entrepreneurs to develop the best possible entrepreneurship programs. And I was waiting for hopefully the presentation will come on again. Let's see. If you can. Okay, we'll just go for it, but we need pictures. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. Here you go. Good. So we decided that for this presentation, in presenting a digital entrepreneurship program, we are going to make Gillian happy and present a South African program called It Starts With You as an illustration, and work with Thandi's car wash, her innovative car wash ID. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to tell you a couple of words about us, a little bit about the building blocks we use to work with partners and produce these programs, and we're going to illustrate it all with giving you a demo of It Starts With You. Entreprenerdy has been working with really good partners all along, co-creating programs, requiring partners across countries, several of them in projects that are working across borders. A lot of social inclusion involved. We are 18 people working out of 5 countries to do this, and in addition, maybe the reason we are here is that we have been able to work with this fantastic crew in Sandefjord as well. Let's have a look at the building blocks and that we are working with. There was a couple of references earlier. The first really important building block for us is that we believe that entrepreneurship is something that can be learned, and it's something that everybody can learn. It's a discipline. So this is not something for white, male, high-tech university elites. What we are doing, we are really working everything we can every day to produce a grassroots entrepreneurship movement and providing these steps that was mentioned so that it can work better. How do we do it? First of all, we work systematically. We believe in a systematic approach to entrepreneurship, and together with several universities and all these partners, we have taken part in developing SEAM, which is a generic and holistic entrepreneurship method, which we have tried to create as simple as possible, containing the most important steps. So it starts with the bottom left corner, the purpose, why you want to be an entrepreneur, and it moves through all the strategy elements, the business idea, the business model, and the project development parts with goals and forecasts. There are, of course, other methods. The most important that we think is that you take a structured approach and work with this over time. Next building block in what we are doing, some learning principles. The network has been mentioned by several of the others, so we do focus on group-based learning. The networks entrepreneurs can give each other is extremely important. We have seen in to the right of me, quite short sprint, 4 to 6 weeks to develop your business plan or entrepreneurship roadmap gives a bit of momentum as long, and as well, it gives you time to reflect on what you really want. And then we work with some pedagogical principles like case-based learning, reverse classroom. And the newest thing we have discovered in our work is that you need a life cycle perspective. I think it was mentioned that Anita started 4 years ago. So it takes time. And during that time, you need somebody to help you with motivation, with discipline, and being part of this entrepreneurship community is extremely valuable. And also having the support of gründeriet and of advisors who can help you with each step on the way. So we also work with certifying advisors, and that's an absolutely important part of all of this. The last building block we are looking at is the digital part. We have built an entrepreneurship management system which is holistic and consists of these 5 main modules, which I'm now going to show you in videos for the program. And before we start, the It Starts With You is going to be an entrepreneurship program for entrepreneurs in the township, primarily starting in around Johannesburg. So this is really about, we talked about social inclusion. This is probably about people who cannot go. There's not a NAV. There's not someone who will hire you. You have to create your own job and do that. So when this was being set up to help people, this is our colleague, Musivetu Muchali, who's doing a discovery workshop defining the content of this program. We like the structured approach, so we use SIATE. We have built software where you can actually play around and test if you want to how you want to set up your program. It starts with some core modules, which is these 7 steps of the C model, and then an introduction and an outro. Then you have some electable modules, for instance, sustainability and design thinking or testing the problem is important. Then we have heard from gründeriet, we have heard from Start in Vestfold and everybody. These program-specific modules, for instance, this network that can be brought in here in Vestfold, It Starts With You, the township economy, the simplified financial reporting, extremely important to create specific programs that separates a bit from each other. When Musi made this program together with it, he decided on a hybrid program with some physical and some online sessions. We are now looking at how you can also set up the digital platform to include some unaided self-serviced parts, which I will show when Thandi is going through her application. And there's also a bit more technical. There's a program finder portal that you will soon see, and we can set up the different criteria that will present the individual programs. For It Starts With You, it's naturally focused on South Africa. There's a bit of graphical and content management so that you create this landing page, which we have created extremely simple. You will see all of this in a minute. Next part of this is the recruitment part and application management. And here you can see Thandi looking at her mobile phone. We are now seeing the view she's getting where she's actually adding some information about her geography. If this would be Larvik or Sandefjord, she would get to CoLab or gründeriet or Start in Vestfold. She's adding some info about her ID stage and her industry, and the program finder suggests the best suited program based on that. In this case, It Starts With You. And then we're just showing an example that there are other programs that might be relevant for some. You can have a look at this as well. Moving forward from that, Thandi, of course, get to start the application, but what you will see in a couple of seconds, she actually gets to start developing her business case, her entrepreneurship case. She now has entered the demographic. She's selecting this program start, the cohort she wants to run with. And here she is getting the first questions in a mobile interface, extremely simplified, 20, 25-second videos, and where she can start entering what's motivating her for her entrepreneurship project. She wants to secure the future of her child. That's one main motivation for her. This is summarized, as you can see here, after the first 10 questions, and she can use that to apply to participate in the program. Once that's done, Musi, which is having the facilitator role here, he is going in and he can look at all the different applications for this program. Thandi is, of course, a no-brainer. So she's getting into the program here. She's being selected and added to the cohort together with 14 other people, so that we create this trusted network of entrepreneurs who are developing together. And you can see the program that we defined, which Musi can also further manage in detail on the side nearest me. He then goes in and have a look at Thandi's profile that she's prepared, so that she can present herself both to the facilitators and advisors, but even more importantly to the other entrepreneurs, which we will see. So there are some elements with that. Next step of this is that Musi is actually going in and sending this chat message to the whole group saying, "Cool guys, looking forward to see you. This is going to be good." Okay. That was the second module of this. Thirdly, the sprint management. I put up these images. We do the online cohorts. We run this. We've been running it with 389 people in Nav-Vestland over the last 5 years, and 2 of them have been to our offices. So we can run this completely digital. We've been running it with participants from California and Vietnam and Netherlands and England together in a cohort. What we do when we run things digitally is that we use a very strict setup with a division with almost 2/3 being the participants talking and presenting their cases and discussing their experiences. And then Musi or some other, we have facilitators several places, are going into the more presenting and clarifying on the discipline, the themes of this. This is what the work will result in. Here you can see Thandi has entered more data on her purpose, more data on her resources. She's developed her business ID and step by step added also the problem interviews where she has checked, do I really solve a problem worth solving for the customers? This has been developed into her quite innovative model of a one-stop shop car wash with a saloon for male and female wellness, and the Shisanyama, which is a South African barbecue restaurant. And it's a real idea. The case is set up. She's defining her objectives and milestones for the next 6 months period, making this extremely concrete. Also giving Benedict and the rest of us the opportunity to say, you're really focusing enough on sales on this, right? We can go in and talk with the entrepreneurs and also looking at the task she has set up to achieve her objectives. Final step, maybe the world's simplest forecasting system. That's at least what we've been trying to do. We want this to be applicable and available for everybody. And we've trained ourselves on literally thousands. The toughest ones probably the cultural entrepreneurs, artists doing this. That's been some work. You can add the recurring cost, which was the salary. We also have a system that links these tasks together with the forecasting. So here Thandi is adding the cost for an external consultant coming in. All summarized in a profit loss overview. And as you will soon see, she's losing a little bit of money in the beginning, but looks basically good. And it's all summarized again in a business plan. And this is something she can use. So what we use the EMS for here is to distribute the systematic approach. and we combine it with those learning principles in such a way that it can be an easier way. Like we saw in the video for Start in Vestfold, it simplifies the process for the entrepreneurs. Final element of this is this community part, the life cycle part. Again, the profile of the entrepreneurs are going to be important. We are looking at what would be the next program that could be relevant for you. Maybe there's a more scale-up program for you. Maybe there are some webinars, like we've heard, also are provided with marketing and the rest. When entrepreneurs have allowed people to see their profile, they can connect one-to-one. They can, of course, then talk real life, or they can chat within this. And as you will see, we are also doing the work on these, extending the cohort messages in such a way that you can create discussion threads and really tap into this network. And what's interesting with this is think about the opportunities across the countries when you are doing this. We're already seeing that within some industries. There's a lot of learning analytics capabilities in this. All the data that goes in, we can pull out. I'm going to leave that to the time. What do we want to achieve? And what can be KPIs for these kind of programs? This is what we aim to do with It Starts to You. We want to run, starting this year, we want to run a high number of cohorts with up to 400, 500 participants over the next years. What's maybe more interesting is the bottom three here, where these are actually based on measurements we are doing on the programs we are running. And we see that we can actually achieve, it's not a given, it's not easy, but we can achieve survival rates of 75% when people complete their programs. And we have also seen a doubling of revenues in several of these programs. So that's it from the digital part of this. If you have any questions, I'm going to be around. My colleague Christopher is over there at Gründeriet waving. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.